side. Margie, back at your table.
Behavior, that's what we had in TA. The rebellious child will say, I don't want to do it, and can therefore sabotage your success or your ability to learn.
Beautiful.
The critical parent says, it's the messages in your head that come out in, you can't do this, or when you try to do this, you screw it up.
It'll never work.
Right. The nurturing parent can help to reinforce the consistent behaviors, positive messages that you might hear when you complete the behavior. The natural child might think that every single prospecting call needs to be rewarded with candy, like me. That's it.
And so I'm curious, do you reward yourself with candy? Or?
Yes, I do.
Very good, very good.
Too much.
Any other gems that anybody's dying to share? Any other tables, Pat?
We had attitude, and all the good things that were said, we already said as well.
A good ditto statement, very
Yep.
good, yeah.
And we also said it allows you to focus on things that matter, and it also, there's a reference to the scripts and tapes associated with our past that will influence our attitude either negatively or positively.
Any observations, big picture here? What do you notice about TA and our success triangle? It's everywhere. It's as ingrained in our training, our success triangle, the entire BAT triangle, as anything else, as much as DISC and IR. DISC, IR, and TA are all interwoven. DISC, IR, and TA are all interwoven. Using the three of them together, it's extremely powerful. What did I say? Hamish? Very good, very good, very good. So my job, what I want to do here today is really just bring TA to life. Stop! What's going on? What just happened? What'd you notice? Who was the critical parent? John was the critical parent. What'd John say? Danny, what the hell are you doing? Disrupting the room here. Bob's trying to do a talk, Danny. What are you doing? Critical parent. What role did Danny play? Adapted child. And Tim? Or? Anybody that knows Tim knows that was his natural child. It was not the evil Timmy. It was the natural child. Where did Danny go? He was drawn over to the critical parent like a moth to the flame. Couldn't resist going right up to that critical parent. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Don't hit me. Geez, I didn't screw up. I'm sorry. I want to challenge you that. Our adaptive child and natural child are so different that they really behave as separate ego states. Okay, we're done with that part. I want to let that trickle through the funnel a little bit. Our adaptive child and our natural child are separate ego states. They behave entirely differently. They respond to different stimuli. Anybody want observations, thoughts, feedback? Everybody okay with it? Could be a little bit of blasphemy, I understand that. Bob?
No, I just would like to hear clarification.
All right. And I'm going to get to that in the next slide. But our adaptive child feeds and spins off our parent. Our natural child feeds and spins off our adult. They behave separately. The parent adaptive child actually stereo tracks to the same recording. If my father says, Alan Frederick Simon, what happens? Sphincter says, right? Or Daniel Kenneth Wood, that triggers our adaptive child. Does not trigger our natural child. They behave separately. Does that help a little bit? We all have these tapes, and it's amazing how hard it is to find a tape deck because we just don't use them anymore. But what's the graphic for an MP3 look like? I don't know. So zeros and ones just didn't make a lot of sense. So for you young kids, we all have these ego states playing simultaneously. They're all playing. We have different volume knobs. Some get triggered faster and easier than others. We may have a pretty loud adaptive child that gets triggered pretty quickly by many stimuli. I was in the hall talking to Jim Matei, and someone walked out of the room next door right before we walked in here. And she walked out and she said, "What, are you hiding out in the hallway?" "No, I'm just talking." And she said, "What, you stealing stuff?" "No." I said, "What got your parent going?" And then she realized I kind of was in my adult, not getting sucked in through my adaptive child of saying, "No, I'm sorry, I should be in a session." And she went on. We've seen those happen, correct? I was talking to a client last Tuesday before I came out. And he came in, I said, "How was your weekend?" He said, "I went to Mom's, I ate too much." I said, "You went to Mom's and had to clean your plate, didn't you?" "Yeah, I did." His mom triggered his adaptive child of "got to clean my plate." That happens. Some of us have stickier volume knobs. They just don't get triggered as easily by some stimuli. Make sense? Does that help a little bit? Clear as mud? Say, "Well, if you want me to go through something again, I'm okay with that."